Everybody, thank you all so much. You did a great job.
A couple timely reminders. We got the Omega event tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Pick up candy.
We'll be there at 9.
Were you watching?
Yes.
You didn't say anything.
You always get annoyed with if I give an
When you
opinion.
don't say anything, then I assume you hate it.
Brilliant. I think take 7 was the one.
Why 7?
I'm not getting into
You
this.
didn't what?
You always get this way whenever we wrap a movie, emotional, and then you blame me.
All movies have their language, and part of my job is to figure out how it can be stretched or how it might evolve throughout the course of a movie. And so also by setting these memories, we're also setting a language for the movie going forward.
How do I play people when I don't see people, don't touch people?
Don't touch people.
I had a notion of an actor and an actor going through a crisis, and also a famous actor going out in the world, being amongst the people again, or in some ways trying to sort of go backwards while they go forwards. And this notion of, for famous actors too, of losing your old life in some way. You know, you're gaining this other thing, but you're losing your ability to be ordinary again, or just be anonymous. And how this sort of notion of losing your name also, which if it's your birth name that is now this, exists as this other thing.
Who am I?
Look at you. You're the American dream. You're the last of the old movie stars.
I'm down here.
You're up there, you're down here, you're in here. It's amazing. We've accomplished so much together.
Everything you say makes it worse.
It was a way to write about an identity. A lot of my movies are about, in some ways, how do I define myself in the world, and am I that person? And we all have a gap between who we kind of think we are and who we might actually be if we were our truest, most honest self, and how we can make adjustments to that throughout our life. And sometimes life forces you to make an adjustment. An actor was a way to do that in a both actual and metaphorical way at the same time.
I wrap this last one. I start the Lewis Brothers movie right here on the lots. I'll be around for the summer.
I'm going to Europe with Rio and Moses and some friends. I told you that.
I thought that was in July.
No, it was always June. I'm leaving on Saturday for Paris, and we're making our way over to Tuscany.
Saturday? I mean, that's Saturday. It's too soon. Wait, I got 2 weeks off. We won't have had time to hang out. This is your last summer.
That's why I want to see my friends.
It'll be so lonely here without you.
No, it won't. You're never alone.
Really? I think I'm always alone. Thanks a lot.
I mean, these things happen in the beginning of the movie, a sort of combination of his daughter going away, his mentor dying, the run-in with his old friend, Billy Crudup's character, that trigger this sort of escape plan.
What's the packing?
You think I do too many movies?
I think you do just the right amount of
You
movies.
think I do too many movies?
You do work a lot.
See? Barbara tells me the truth.
What happened last night?
You can't have too much underwear. Yep.
How'd you get the black eye?
I'll tell you on the plane.
What plane?
The plane that I booked. We're leaving at 1.
Where are we going?
Meg, where are we going?
France.
France.
France?
I spoke to Daisy's friend Rio's mom, Claire. Rio uses her mom's credit card so Claire can see the charges online.
Of course she can.
He doesn't have to do that. There's also something about the character which I found very appealing, is that he's really the author of his own breakdown. Yes, he's trying to outrun it, but he's also is running to something. I mean, and you even see it beforehand, the fact that he chooses to go out with Billy's character. I think he's at a point in his life where he wants something to change. He just doesn't know how to architect it. And I find that very appealing about him, even in all his, as you say, Jake Kellying his way out of things, his sort of charm offensive, that there's also a person in there who knows he needs a change. And that was exciting to me about the character.
If you need a couple of days to clear your head, I'll tell the studio.
Tell them that I'm joining Daisy and her friends at a jazz festival in Paris, and then we are catching a train to Italy.
And you're tracking her through her friend's mother's credit card.
It's my last chance to spend time with her before she's gone forever.
This notion that Ron is, by being his friend, but also his support system, his manager, his kind of everything person, is a kind of shadow of him. And there's many things we shot, reflections, Jay seeing Ron at the window on the train, and Ron's in focus, then we rack to Jay's reflection. I mean, we played with that throughout. By design, they're versions of each other, and Ron in particular is actually a version of the same thing Jay's going through. Jay's going through this sort of dark night of the soul, and Ron is dealing with a much more ordinary challenge, which is, how do I be a great dad and husband, and at the same time that I do my job really well.
Why should we be chasing around an infant where we have actual living kids at home who are aging by the minute?
Because we are supporting a great artist who shares with other human beings what it is to be a human being.
We're human too, Ron. More so, maybe.
It's not about us. Our love isn't conditional. We're like parents or imaginary friends. We vanish under cloak of night.
He's not our family or our friend.
He was just at Vivian's Sweet 16.
Were you at Daisy's graduation?
I think it was small.
You weren't invited because it only goes one way. No one wants to say it, but it does. We're not to him what he is to us.
I disagree.
What Adam does so beautifully is that struggle is, you feel it at all times. And I think, again, it's a comic idea, and it's also a very serious idea at the same time. I really wrote this thinking of the Adam I know, who is such a warm, generous, loving person. And I felt like it was a way for Adam, in a funny way, to play someone who is actually more himself, even though it's masked in the manager role. You really feel his respect and love for this guy. I mean, I saw Adam with George on set. Adam really loved being around him and listening to him and playing basketball with him, and they really were hanging out all the time, and you could kind of feel the energy of what they were playing on screen. They were cultivating off camera.
Maybe Adam just step out for a second.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, you can tell the truth. He was never even in the shot, let's face it. He just thinks he is.
You're right. I'm sorry. The tone was uncalled for.
You can step out, Adam.
I'm having a tribute in Tuscany on Saturday, and you all should come.
Yes, talk to my publicist, Liz, right there. What time, Jay?
Sorry.
Do you have any regrets?
What's your name?
Phoebe.
You're a tough one, Phoebe.
I'll see you all in Tuscany. Arrivederci,
Everyone's so nice. People are so nice.
By the way, these are the best peanuts I've ever had. Try one of them.
It's a good peanut, a European peanut.
I didn't offer you one because I know about your allergy.
That's right. My throat will close and I will die.
You and Emily are digging into that dialogue from the 30s and 40s that has its own rhythm.
I love language in movies, and those movies in particular, those 30s, 40s comedies, I think, are so beautifully written and musical. I mean, in the way that they play. I mean, His Girl Friday might as well be a musical in its way that dialogue sings.
Hello, Hildy. Oh, hi, Skinny. Hello, Ruth. Hello, Maisie. Hello, Hildy. How are you? Tell me, is the Lord of the Universe in?
Yes, he's in. In a bad humor. Somebody must have stolen the crown jewels. Shall we announce you?
Oh, no, I'll blow my own horn.
It was something because we have so many speaking roles, particularly in this movie, too. I mean, Emily and I wrote all the external, just the stuff that was meant to be thrown away. And a lot of times, as a director, I actually feel like I know when I have something, when a take is right by hearing it. I mean, there's the visual, but once we have the camera down with the visuals kind of set, it's really hearing it. And often when I feel like we need to go again, it's because I haven't heard the music quite.
It strikes me that also was something that led you to reach for Mr. Britell with the score, right?
Yes, I've loved Nick's scores. And it was, it's this thing that was early on, I guess instinctual, but I feel like I want a kind of old-fashioned movie score for this. I mean, again, it should feel modern. I wanted an orchestra. I wanted something, again, that felt cinematic in a very straightforward, kind of old-fashioned way. And I just reached out to him. I'd never met him. In our first conversation, we just sort of talked for a long time about movies and music and movie music, and he's an amazing collaborator in part because of that, because I can talk about a feeling or even just a sort of a practical thing of I don't have enough space here, so we have to end it here, or whatever the thing is. And he can articulate it musically so clearly and so beautifully.
Do it like fortissimo with even more molto fortissimo.
So a lot of it's almost be like in a rush.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, like almost like a
the edge of the beat.
Yeah, like push it. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Let's see.
Just couldn't wait to jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
He wrote 3 themes that are all in the movie, the Jay Kelly theme being the one that's played the most from reading the script too. So I had that music when we were shooting the movie, and I brought Nick to set also so he could kind of be in the world of it. He's even in the movie a little bit. And it was also great for the actors. It's that thing, it's like you almost are like looking into the future, you're like, this is the movie we're making. At some point, this is going to be what we've done. And it's like something to reach for, and it's a wonderful thing to have, to work with somebody who essentially is like, you know, here are these themes, and I can feel like, yeah, that's the movie I'm going to make.
Kelly.
Quickly, hurry up, you're gonna miss it. Hurry up. Daisy, I'm coming.
Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly. Gary Cooper. Cary Grant. Jay Kelly. Clark Gable. Jay Kelly. Robert De Niro. Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly.
Many scenes in the movie that I feel like it's, again, this sort of going forward and going backward.
Have a good weekend. I can't believe you drove here from LA by yourself.
I wanted to see you in your life.
He's on this journey, but he's also in a journey into his past at the same time. And that scene, on one hand, he's like gaining his power again. It's almost a way to like bring himself back to his grandeur, but I also saw it as the opposite. It's almost a way of breaking down. It's one of those things that sort of just felt alive and interesting to me. And of course it then triggers a memory.
Jay Kelly, Jay Kelly, Jay Kelly.
Yeah.
Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly.
Yeah. We wrote in the script that Jay would physically enter these memories.
I kind of feel like we want to maybe be here for a second with a real mirror. Yep.
But sometimes I write something that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to accomplish as a director. I have a sense, I feel like I can solve it, but I don't know yet what that is. And it really did take lots of brainstorming and testing and even sort of philosophical discussion with Mark Tildesley, the production designer, and Lena Sandgren, the cinematographer, about how we wanted it to feel and how we wanted to accomplish it in a practical way.
The right foot pivot here, there she is.
And track 2, 3.
And as you go past me, I go under here. Yeah. And we she says a line, he says a line.
We did it in a very, I mean, it's both very sophisticated and very straightforward at the same time. It's just sets built together, but it's something that Mark does so brilliantly.
He goes down out of frame to wash his face, and that's when we see Daisy and her friends running. The camera then comes back around, is now looking in the mirror. What has happened in that period is that George has ducked under the crane arm and gone around. Now George is on the other side playing his own reflection. And then he goes, Jay Kelly, Jay Kelly, Jay Kelly, here the whole time. And then looks up in the corner, of the thing, and then we go through there.
Because it is about movies at the same time that it's about memory, I think. Memories are movies in our heads, and they become like movies for us too, because we're reinventing them all the time, whether we know it or not. And I wanted to capture that feeling of memory and how memories come to us. Something might trigger it. We might need, something to remind us. And then there's some that are there that we may not want to think about too much, and we keep kind of keeping, and then suddenly they kind of find their way back in.
I don't know, I'm tired.
I just had a fight with Daisy.
I wish I was there to help
What'd you say?
them.
What?
What? Nothing. I'm just tired.
I just wish
I
I
already
spent
said
more
that.
time with her. I was always at work.
Well, I always negotiated flights on the
Well,
weekends for you to
I
go
was
home and see
exhausted.
the
It's
kids.
very
I'm
difficult
Just saying
to
you
just-
could.
What are you getting
I'm
at?
just saying Ben, for instance, flies home every weekend from the show to see his family.
Ben Alcott.
I'm not comparing
It's
them,
hard
really
not to feel like
I'm
you
just
are.
saying these are the decisions we make.
The sort of old married couple bit of this is slightly in contrast with where you are in your journey, because you're like playing piano and we have the bedroom, so you have that sort of like trying to keep everybody going.
So to find a cinematic language that would approximate that and be graceful and, again, simple in a way. Like on the airplane, we would shoot the whole scene, you know, and Jay and Ron are talking and the group is talking, and then Jay gets up to go to the bathroom and he says, "Are you running to something or from something?" And he says, "Yes." And he gives him this kind of pat on the cheek, and he walks and he opens the curtain, and we've got an entire cast of characters waiting on this other set. And then young Jay starts his Chekhov monologue, and we would shoot that whole sequence from that perspective. And you know, all movies have their language, and part of my job is to figure out how it can be stretched or how it might evolve throughout the course of a movie. And so also by setting these memories, we're also setting a language for the movie going forward. So each memory is different and evolves not only the methodology of entering into it, but also when they come, how they come, the way they are for Jay. I think part of the reason the memories work is that they do feel organic. And you could feel it on the day, too. And there's a kind of love of the form that's baked into it. And I felt like we need to be true and honor the form. You know, there's something old-fashioned about it, too. It was always interesting to me with George, too, how even in the memories where it's the same take, we haven't done anything different, there's no makeup change or anything, but he could appear a movie star on the plane and then walk into the memory, and then you see his face, and suddenly age almost seems to reveal itself on his face. For an American movie star to do something like that is, I found, kind of really exciting.
Coming to the end.
The end of what?
The end of the movie, the end of the shoot.
There's always the next one.
Are you listening to anything
I started getting dry eyeballs from nowhere. Like there was grit or something.
Emily and I wrote that scene, and I imagined a fluidity. It was really when Linus and I sat down and looked at it together where we felt like it should be done in one, because it shouldn't stop. The quote that opens the movie, the Sylvia Plath quote, is part of the shot.
It's a piece of glass, right?
It's a piece of glass. We did it in black. This is something Linus came up with, which I loved. I mean, because I was not even bold enough to think, oh, we'll do the quote too there. And he was like, why don't we do the whole thing that way? And you can't see the writing until the white smoke starts to reveal it. And then we would rack focus through the glass to the man who says, "We're coming to the end," which again is the first line of the movie. And that would sort of set us off and running onto this long shot, which then it comes all the way around, and George then has to perform both as Jay and as the character, and it has to be good in the scene as well. So on one hand, here's all the madness around Jay Kelly, and you know how you get to see what an actor does, which is they have to deliver amidst all this sort of maelstrom around them.
That's a crazy thing when you die. Everything you thought you were isn't true.
But it's also, I think, was a way to kind of tell the story of the movie in the beginning, in the opening shot. And it, again, all this seemingly unrelated things, you know, all the moments of our lives that, you know, that occasionally, you know, come together and crystallize into something that's coherent. And it's the things that make us up. And then he dies. I mean, he dies as the character in the movie. And I thought, well, it's, yeah, in a sense, it's like, it is a movie about facing mortality, I mean, amongst all the things. And it's something that he can do easily as an actor, but of course is difficult for anybody to do in reality. I mean, ostensibly, he's the one creating these memories, whether he realizes it or not. And I always saw them as headwinds. You know, he's moving at this clip, but they're not stopping him in the beginning, but they're slowing him down. And they're also affecting the next memories. And they're affecting how he starts to behave in the present. And you also have in the present, you have his sort of support team starting to peel away and get fed up with him.
And I appreciate the apology, but I can't work with you anymore. It's not good for me.
He is getting stripped down, and it was always kind of amusing to us to sort of have this sort of notion of like, you peel away all the lines of defense, the same way we might in a therapy session. The way we started to shoot Jay starts to change too. We're starting to place him more into the environment. It's an environment that he doesn't have control over. And again, framing wise too, you look at like he's at this dinner with Stacy Keach's character, and suddenly like the flowers are blocking his face, the father blocks him with the sweater. We shoot low on the table, so like arms are getting wine and things, and Jay's talking, and he's not the focus anymore. He's just a character in the landscape. Visually, it's constructed in a way that it's very subtly shifting as the journey continues. And again, it's sort of, we're talking about the sort of evolution of what becomes possible. Frances Ha, the camera never moved really when Frances or a character didn't motivate it. And then there's just a moment at the end when she has her own apartment, and it's sort of this sort of moment of arrival for her where we just push in, and it's very simple, and it's not something you see a million times in a movie, but suddenly in that movie it's like something is released. And in this way it was almost the reverse, which is the camera almost starts to move back, it starts to slow down, and it's Jay who wants to keep going.
I didn't execute it the way I planned it. That's
Just be honest with me, Jay. Stop rationalizing and trying to defend yourself. Just stop.
That woods scene, I imagine that's almost, in terms of this, something you're writing toward.
Right, absolutely. And yes, and as he enters the woods, we show him the little white suit in this big wilderness. And it's something too, it's the memories and the methodology of the memories, the way we've developed this also allows for, when he's on the phone with Jessica, for her to then appear there in person.
I'm feeling bad about the last time we were together. Sorry about that. I just couldn't take that guy. You still seeing him?
Yes.
Part of our reasoning for that was even sort of like, do we really want to have this great dramatic sort of confrontation between the two of them on the phone only? Do we want to cut between that? Do we want to see her in her kitchen in San Diego? No. Like, we want to see them face to face. And
you've established a language.
And we've established a language that allows for it. And it allows to sort of evolve, because it's kind of not a memory, but it's a fantasy too. And so we shot all the forest stuff and day for night as well, which gives it this sort of ghostly feeling, which I love. And then it's really just two amazing actors.
You don't have to worry about me, Dad. I'm okay. I love what I do. I have friends. I'm gonna have a good life, just not with you. And you're okay too. You're a good movie star. You make a lot of people happy.
Riley is so open and emotional in that scene, and just beautiful. And what you see George doing there, the changes in his face and the sort of inside becoming externalized, which is the process that he's going through in the movie. I think it's a remarkable performance in that scene in particular.